We're live.
Hello, everybody.
Hi, and welcome to How to TikTok.
Yes, welcome to our TikTok about TikTok. We both work together at ActTV and are passionate about emerging platforms, and this one is particularly exciting, I think.
Yeah. Can we bring up the slide deck? And we'll go ahead and get started. There we go. All right. Okay, so I thought we would just tell you a little bit about ActTV and our background before we jump right into to the nitty-gritty of TikTok here. ActTV is a progressive media company. We specialize in live streaming, video production, and social media strategy. We've been doing this for nearly 8 years now. My name is Sandy. I'm Director of Content and our social strategy, and I'll let Jocelyn introduce herself.
Yeah, and Sandy and I work very closely together on any number of platforms and their strategies, and also do a lot of progressive live streaming, both in and out of the field here in DC, covering a lot of protests, which is exciting
Yes,
and
we have multiple social accounts and profiles across various platforms under our own brand, but we also work widely with a broad range of progressive clients. And we have a dedicated R&D lab. So our own profiles and accounts act sort of as a laboratory for us to experiment and research and find out what works so that we can then put that to work for our clients. So that's sort of the background of where our knowledge and expertise as it is on a platform like TikTok comes from. So we've been really delving into that for over a year now. So we're excited to share with you what we've learned. So today, there's a lot we could go into. Just so to be clear, today's session will not be how to make a video, how to upload a video, that kind of thing. We want to talk in a broader strategy viewpoint. So we want to talk a little bit about why you should consider being on TikTok, what its value is. We want you to understand how the TikTok algorithm works and why it is so powerful and such a good opportunity for activists and organizations. We'll go over some best practices for what kind of content to create and how to go about that. And then we'll talk a little bit about building a community, building a following, and working with influencers on the platform.
So, okay, I'm sure any number of you either have a TikTok, are TikTok creators, or at least have seen the weird ways TikTok will end up in the mainstream media. You guys remember the Claudia Conway thing? It's a very, very strange series of stories. Claudia calling out her mom from her TikTok platform. But TikTok is a very interesting platform. It's unlike a lot of other, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook things, which are more verbal. It's an entirely video driven platform, which if you are a progressive activist, candidate, issue advocate, is actually an incredible opportunity. It is the world's most downloaded social media app with 1 billion monthly active users. And I think Sandy's going to talk about this a little bit more later. The way people use TikTok is also more engaged. Pretty much everybody has a Facebook, but when you talk to younger people, especially about how much they actually use that Facebook and engage with it, it's not that much. Where 30% of TikTok users are on the app for an hour a day or more, which means if you can create a good space on TikTok, there's a good chance that people are actually going to see your content, which is very exciting. 22% of the US population and younger people. It's a #1 platform for people 18 to 24, especially for women and especially for communities of color, which is obviously important for obvious reasons. And the way it works, people can form real connections there. And I mean, you're talking to people. People are talking to you. You're doing duets. It's not really as impersonal as some other platforms can be. And so the opportunity for advocacy is high, but it's still pretty underutilized. Like a statistic I saw when we were getting ready for you guys that blew my mind is only 4% of social marketers are even using it, because I think it's intimidating. If you're in the millennial age range, you probably grew up using MySpace and Facebook, so that sort of thing makes sense to you. But TikTok is an entirely new paradigm of social engagement. But it's important to understand it because there is so much potential here, especially for activists and people who want to get attention to their issue. Did I miss anything, Sandy?
No, I think that about covers it. I think it is important that people understand the demographics of TikTok. That it is highly, it's an excellent place to reach Gen Z and younger millennial audiences. That is not to say that that's the only people that are there. You've got everyone from grandmas on down. But it is, instead of bending over backwards trying to find 18 to 24-year-olds on Facebook, let's go to where they are already and meet them where they are. So it's exciting and it's a great opportunity.
And I think oh, sorry.
Sorry.
Only one last thing. I experienced this too when we started doing TikTok. I think there again, if you grew up with any of the more, like, again, word content driven like platforms that we're used to, Twitter, Facebook, it can feel like a little bit anxiety inducing to break into it, but once you do, it's just like really fun. So yeah,
Right.
don't be intimidated.
Right. I will just in the chat. Ariel says that she's 26 and definitely afraid of TikTok. So it's but I think that one important point, and we were going to get to this a little bit later, but an important thing to point out is that the best way to get creating on TikTok is to just get in and start creating on TikTok. Unlike some other platforms, Instagram wants very polished content. It really rewards a consistent aesthetic and theme throughout your feed. TikTok's not like that. TikTok doesn't it rewards boldness and personality and risk taking more than it does perfection. So you just really need to jump in and get going with it.
um Oh yeah, okay. I'll mention this later in the slide deck, but I
Okay.
do have some advice about how to get over your TikTok anxiety because I have to deal with that too.
All right. Um, so we want to spend a few minutes talking about the algorithm. The algorithm to TikTok is the reason that it is so powerful, and the reason that even if you are starting out with a very small account, you can still have a big impact. You can still put content out there that can reach an enormous audience. The first piece that I ever put up was I had no followers. I was brand new on the platform. I put up a video, and within a couple of days, I had more than 50,000 views, which is not bad for an account that started with 0 followers. And it's just a matter of getting in, being authentic, following some best practices, which we're going to get to in a few minutes, and taking some risks. But that's not the kind of reach or distribution that content from a brand new newbie account could get from any other platform. And it's solely because of the algorithm on TikTok. So let's talk about what happens when you put up a video on TikTok. For those, I'm assuming most of us here have seen TikTok at least, and you know that there are 2 feeds. There's a following feed and there is a for you feed. The following is going to be, a stream of videos from people that you follow. But the for you page is where the magic happens. That is where the TikTok algorithm puts in front of you videos that it believes that you're going to engage with and like. And it is remarkably efficient and effective at doing that. So when you post a video, the algorithm initially shows it just to your followers and a very small subset of users which seem to be likely viewers, that they would be interested in your content. Based on that initial result, whether people are liking, sharing, commenting, and also a really big part of this is the completion rate. If people are scrolling up and passing it after a few seconds, it's not going to go anywhere. But the fuller completion rate that video gets, the bigger boost you're going to get. So if you're getting full views or 90% views and some engagement from your followers in that subset, then it pushes it out through the For You page into a much bigger distribution, and that's where the magic happens. The other thing about the TikTok algorithm that you may have heard is it's sticky. It's the stickiest algorithm out there for any social platform. And if you're not familiar with that term, sticky means that it keeps people there. So the algorithm is completely AI driven. People don't tweak it, and it doesn't recommend videos to you. Right? It's not like the recommended algorithm on YouTube where you'll see thumbnails and you have to click the ones you want to choose. Instead, TikTok puts the viewer right into a stream of videos that the algorithm has decided you're going to be interested in. So it directs the viewer directly to your content, and it's very effective at doing that. And for you as a creator, it delivers users that are most likely to engage with your content. So it's sort of a win-win for everyone. And when all of those things are working, it gets sticky. And what that means is, well, I mean, if you've gotten on TikTok and started watching videos and scrolling, and the next thing you know, it's been an hour, that's what we mean by sticky. Joss, do you want to go over some basics and some terminology?
Yeah, and judging by the comments, this is going to be a review for most of you, but that's fine. For those of you who aren't yet using the app,
Oops,
oh no,
sorry.
no, it's okay. So this is what it looks like when you open the app, basically. And you know, for those of you who don't know, it's like I said earlier, this isn't really a word-driven platform. You definitely should still be writing good captions and using hashtags, but similar to Twitter, it caps out at like I think 250 characters. So you're not going to be. It's not like Instagram where you're writing long confessional posts. Search for hashtags and trends and songs, which might be, you know, I mean, you guys like Megan Thee Stallion kills it with his like, and TikTok is a trend driven platform. You know, I mean, it favors, I don't want to say plagiarism, but it favors mimicry in like a way that no other platform does. So yeah, so look for that. Surf off that, make content based on what's already going on, you know, help yourself. This is when you're doing your original sound, whether it's just like talking or, you know, music playing in the background, although be careful with that one. These are where your comments are, how to like a video. And yeah, it's, you know, it looks weird and different, but it's pretty self-explanatory once you get used to it. Just again, it doesn't really look like anything else.
Well, the nice thing about the interface also, just not to talk over you, Joss, is that there's you're never going to get an error. There's no swipe you can make that's not rewarded. Swipe up, you get another video. Swipe down, you go to the previous video. Swipe right to go to the profile. So it's a really intuitive and easy to use app that doesn't intimidate a new user either. So it keeps them there and keeps them scrolling.
Yeah, and that's a thing. I mean, again, I think that with TikTok, a lot of the anxiety is just mental because it's like, you know, again, all these scarily attractive people dancing and whatnot. But like when you actually dig into it, it is pretty user intuitive and the content is very easy to download and share, which is definitely not the case with a lot of other platforms. So that is very nice. Um, yeah. Oh, we're covering a lot of this, but yeah. So using your original sound, that's pretty self-explanatory. If you just take a video of yourself talking, hashtags are just like any other platform, and just like any other platform, especially if you're doing this for your organization, definitely don't neglect hashtags. Stitch is so if you go into make if you go into make a video, it says allow stitch and duet or not. If you want people to be able to collaborate with you, I'm sure even if you don't use TikTok, you've seen these videos where like one person on one side of the screen, or it's one person's video, then another person comes in. And the editing tools are the one thing that like it might take you a minute to figure out because they're always rolling out new things. There's green screen, which that one makes sense. Like it's like a green screen in a newsroom. But there's just all sorts of cool things you can do with the video. And it's fun. I think it's cool. I wish I'd been able to make like cool little music videos when I was in high school. And again, I feel bad because I know a lot of you are TikTok users, so I'm not trying to patronize those of you, but it is, yeah. Anything to add, Sandy?
Well, yeah, I would just also point out that, for original sound, um, there's an incentive for you to upload original sound, and to allow others to use that. Every time, if you're the when a sound is uploaded for the first time, it's an original sound, and every time it's used, it's tagged with the original creator, the original account that uploaded it. So it's an opportunity for more visibility, more virality, even if it's being used in someone else's video. Um, Hashtags, again, just like on other platforms, it's a means of surfacing trending content and searching. But one thing about TikTok is that the hashtags tend to be newer and fresher all the time. It's not like Instagram where you see the same hashtags on the same on posts from the accounts over and over and over again. So they're constantly being freshened up and constantly being changed and developing new ones. Stitch and duets, we're going to show you some examples here in a sec, but also, again, remember that TikTok is a very collaborative platform. There's all kinds of opportunities to work with and create with other creators. And those are two built-in tools. And then finally, on the editing tools, even if you don't want to post to TikTok, it's the most amazing set of video editing tools. It's more robust than what you can do in any other app, and TikTok even lets you just download those right to your phone, even if you're not going to publish them to the. Some people I know just use it as a video editor and then use those videos elsewhere. So it's very robust, and it can be a little intimidating at first, but I think you just have to get in and play with it. So this is an example of a TikTok that uses stitching. So stitch is where you basically just take clips of another creator's video and then go from there. So in this case, I said labeled this as a triple stitch because this is a case where we have an original video. There's a girl uh, sorry, and then somebody stitched that one. So there was a guy replying to that or sort of debunking her, and then we have a third creator that is now stitching onto that. So it's like 3 levels deep here. So you can see what that looks like.
That is enough men to make all women afraid. That is enough men that when I'm walking home alone at night, I have to assume it's all men to keep myself safe. But when men. Ooh, did someone say radical feminist? I'm sorry. I'm a radical feminist because I would like to continue living. I do.
Okay. So that's a stitch. This is what we mean by a duet. So a duet is similar to a stitch where you're using someone else's video or they are using yours. But in this case, the videos appear side by side. This is not in any way social justice or political, but I think it's funny. So.
It is crazy to me that women have been deprived of pockets for so long that they've evolved to this level of grip strength. I mean, look at this shit. Every woman can do this. Every woman can do this. Look how much shit is in her hand. I mean, this should qualify you for the Avengers.
It's true too. And then we just thought we'd show some examples of some of the more popular editing tools. Green screen filter and green screen sticker, just to be clear, are two different things. So this first video shows you the green screen filter. This is an example where, and you don't actually have to use a you have a physical green screen in your space, but this allows you to use other video or images behind you.
I don't give a fuck what your stance is on immigration reform or the border or whether you think undocumented people should be here or not. If you can't agree at a bare fucking minimum that chasing people with whips on horseback and whipping them is wrong, then it's really nothing for us to discuss.
And also, you should follow the Luncheon Lawyer. She's fantastic. And then this one is an example of a green screen sticker. So both of these are in the editing tools, but they're going to be in separate places. One's in filters, one's in stickers. So this essentially is like putting a slide deck on top of your TikTok video.
I don't give a fuck what your stance
wrong
is.
one. It is also using original sound, and I think we didn't mention that before, but there are literally millions of music clips that are available to you to use. As long as you're not going to put them in ads or use them for commercial purposes, they are free to use and royalty free. Oops, sorry. Okay. So let's talk about some best practices. You're going to see this a lot. I think if you go to the TikTok creator hub, one of the first things they suggest doing is finding your niche. And it's absolutely true. And what that means is you don't have to do what everybody else is doing. So to a certain extent, you want to be taking advantage of trends and challenges and that kind of stuff. But you know your org, you know your mission, and your niche is going to inhabit that space. There's millions, actually billions of users out there on TikTok, millions in the US. And so there's plenty of segments of that user base where you can find your audience. So there are no real rules to what you can and cannot do there. The best way to go about it is to figure out what you as a creator or you as an organization's wow factors are, and really double down on that. So. It's not that you have to, if you pull up TikTok for the first time, the first thing you're going to see is lots of the trending dance videos. That's not your niche. I mean, maybe it is for your personal account, but for activists and organizations trying to use this as an organizing tool, the dances, trending dances aren't your niche. You're going to need to look a little deeper, and you can do that with searching through hashtags. You can do that through searching through users, but most of the successful accounts out there definitely specialize. There's no I guess I already said, don't be everything to everybody. Jocelyn, did you want to talk about trends?
Yeah. So, I think someone said this in the comment and I feel bad. I think I'm getting feedback. If that is true, I apologize. But somebody said this in the chat. One of the biggest things about
Sorry.
what are we good?
Yeah, no, I
um,
keep flipping slides accidentally. I'm sorry.
and Sandy said this as well. The thing that makes TikTok different, aside from the obvious, you're editing video instead of tweeting out opinions, is that it does thrive on collaboration. It's not, like how would that even work on Instagram, right? Like it's not like influence. I mean, I guess they form partnerships, but no, like TikTok is built for partnership. It's built for, I'm doing this challenge, I'm doing this dance. And so, I mean, that being a part of those is going to help you get on the For You page, which is the goal. As long as TikTok has the For You page, it is easier to go viral on that platform than several others for this reason, right? Because again, it's like if you look for any trend, you're going to pop up if you have, especially if you have a certain amount of viewers, and that's good. That's awesome. That said, as Sandy just said, the accounts that get similar to Instagram, actually, the accounts that get a lot of cachet typically have a theme, whether it's, one of my really good friends manages the Americans for Tax Fairness. I think we're going to see one of her TikToks in a minute. And it's like all tax stuff, obviously. And she does do a couple of the challenges sometimes, but to quote Sandy, you do not want to be cringe. Like, if you can't dance, that's fine. Don't try to participate in a trend unless it just feels natural. And I don't know if we've said this yet, but if you don't really know what's trending, you can just, when you go to audio, especially like the recommended songs, those are the ones that are popular right now. And just go with it if it makes sense for your
Right.
account, what you're trying to do.
Right. Yeah. The only thing I would add is just that while jumping on to the trends and the challenges can really give you a boost on distribution, you still have to keep your audience in mind. So not every challenge out there is going to be an appropriate use of your time and energy. So you just remember who your target audience is and stay in your niche. One of the biggest things that we need to worry about is consistency. I've seen a lot of, we've worked with clients who have been on TikTok for some time, and they'll have a little bit of initial success, and then they don't post anything for 2 weeks, and then they'll have a video, and then they wonder why things aren't growing for them. You have to keep publishing. It takes effort and consistency to grow. The content needs to be quality, but one of the biggest and most crucial parts about it is just putting in the time to create content. The accounts that are growing the fastest simply put out more content. So you do want to work with what is doable for you and your organization. Ideally, I'd like folks that are starting out to shoot for 3 to 5 posts per week and get up to where you're posting at least once a day. And then if you have capacity for more than that, go from there. But whatever is doable for you, just make sure that you're doing it consistently.
Yeah, and yeah, I mean, Sandy already said that, but I just wanted to add one thing. It is, it is like that is not true for every platform, right? Like some platforms, if you overpost, they're going to suppress you, but that's not true with TikTok. If you can do every day, if you can do 3 times a day, then do it, because more is more, which is great, especially if you really like dancing to Megan Thee Stallion, then this is for you.
Right. So recently, TikTok has gone from a 1-minute maximum video length to 3 minutes. And actually, for some creators right now, you can go up to 5 minutes. But just because you can go to 3 or to 5 minutes doesn't mean that you should. Remember that one of the first things we talked about was how important the completion rate for viewership is to maximizing your performance in the algorithm. So whatever length you choose to make your video, it needs to be holding your viewer attention. Don't make it longer than it has to be, and people are petering out. So think about bite size. Remember, a lot of this audience grew up with Vines, right? So they've also grown up with YouTube, but for longer form video, but people don't typically come to TikTok for longer form video. So that may evolve and change in the coming year or two, but for now, just remember that that less is usually more. Okay, we thought we'd show you a few more examples. This first one is an example of well, actually, during the Georgia runoff, Jon Ossoff had a very successful run with his TikTok account. During the 2020 election, the Biden campaign didn't have its own TikTok account, but it did work with a lot of individual creators. So TikTok can be very effective for campaigns, whether we're talking about candidate campaigns or issue campaigns. This is a Jon Ossoff video with an example of using both an original sound and text to speech, which you may have seen on videos going around.
I was busy thinking about expanding Medicaid for Georgians.
Okay, so A, short, sweet, kept your attention, you didn't peter out. B, the lip sync to an original song was great. And then when we talk about text to speech, that the voice for that has become ubiquitous and well known now, even though it doesn't always read things correctly. But basically, you put text on when you're editing your video, and then when you click on that, you have an option to set text to speech, and that's how you get the voice. So it's really simple and easy to do, and it's very effective. It's and then on this one, we've just got another example of using original sound. This is one where she doesn't speak to the camera at all, and still, I think this thing's got like 7 million views. Oops, wrong one. I love this one because it was extremely successful for her. Like I said, it's closing in on 7 million views, but also is a great example for everyone here. There's not much in the way. She's not putting herself out there. She's not dancing. She's not doing anything crazy that's too intimidating. And there's also not much in the way of video editing there. It's basically a slideshow that she got a good rhythm to. But so being creative and still doing things that are fairly simple can still yield great results.
Yeah, I to piggyback off what Sandy said, it's really easy. Like, the way this gears well into the next slide. So the way I learned how to use TikTok is I just took like personal, like videos of me and my friends being idiots or whatever, stuff that was fun and interesting to me because it's my life. And you can put things on private. So like, I actually highly recommend that. Just download the app and use like your home videos or, stuff that like just feels compelling to you, whether it's like pictures of your dog or videos of your dog. And that last video, like Sandy said, it's just a slideshow of pictures. It is really easy to create. You literally just go in the app and click a bunch of pictures, add music, and that's a compelling video. It's poignant. It says a lot very swiftly. Like, it doesn't have to be super fancy or complicated or difficult to do to be very successful for what you're trying to accomplish. And, a lot of people on TikTok obviously are already videographers. You know, obviously we work for Act TV. We are video people, but like, you know, so if you are, don't feel pressured to do something totally different. It's totally fine to just do the same type of stuff you're already doing.
Yeah, you can
And
also create things off outside of the platform and upload. I mean, if you're more
yeah,
comfortable working in Premiere or After Effects or something, that's fine too.
that's a very good point. Yeah, you don't like that's actually what we do. I mean, you know, it doesn't have to be like those TikTok features are cool, but you don't have to learn them if you don't want to learn them. You also could, you know, a lot of times like we go to protests and see crazy stuff in a good way, people doing brave heroic things, you just upload that kind of thing. It doesn't have to be super intense. And, you know, do not be afraid to repost things. This is again, like that wouldn't work on Twitter. If you like you know, said the exact same thing on Twitter a month later, that'd be kind of cringe. But on TikTok, that's fine. And there are tons of stories of people who re-upload a video 3 months later and then it goes viral or it just is more successful then for whatever reason.
Right. Well, and also just remember, if you're new to TikTok, but you're not new to video work, then you've already got a style. You've already got a library of content. You don't have to create everything from scratch. If you've got evergreen content that you can port over to TikTok, you may need to do a little reformatting to make it work. But you can also upload. It doesn't even have to be created in a vertical format. You can put up a widescreen or a square video, and if any of you ever use the desktop app of TikTok, you can actually see that it'll play them square or it'll play them widescreen. But on the mobile app, it simply places them in the center of a screen. So you're able to port content that you have existing. One other thing, and we're not going to go into it too much today, but you've for a long time you've now had the ability to go live stream from TikTok, but they are now adding even more features to that. So we are starting to dive into that and do more with it. So we'd like to do another session another time about the live streaming features of TikTok. But it is another thing that you can consider adding to your repertoire. What I have seen is that accounts that do live streaming get tremendous engagement and get a lot of growth. And finally, one last tip on here is that unlike other platforms, TikTok actually gives you a spot right in your TikTok bio where you can share your Instagram or YouTube link. No other platform is giving you a button to send people away from it. But it's a great reminder that you can grow your TikTok off of other platforms or in conjunction with them. So and it also reminds you that TikTok makes it very easy to download your videos. When you're creating videos, you can save to your phone. If you have videos that are already up, you can save those. You can save anyone's videos to your phone, and then you can port those over to other platforms. One caution I have there, I think most of you probably know this, but it's been maybe 6 months now, but Instagram will penalize you for uploading videos from TikTok to Reels that have the TikTok logo on them. So you're going to want to if you're creating them in TikTok, save them to your phone. They won't have the TikTok logo on them. Then go ahead and publish them to TikTok, and then you can put those on Reels if you like. But that one word of caution there. Whereas Twitter desperately loves anything TikTok, so you're good there. And just a reminder about how people use TikTok differently. It's really an entertainment platform in a lot of ways. People check Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, but they really watch TikTok like they're watching Netflix or Hulu or something. So it's very much an entertainment venue, which is why people binge it, right? It's sticky, it's bingeable, and that's something to keep in mind. It is social, so you get a tremendous amount of engagement. I think I've got this somewhere else in the slide deck, but the engagement rate on Twitter is nearly 18%. That's phenomenal. And it's the average engagement rate. So some accounts are clearly getting more, some are getting less, but an 18% average engagement rate is like unfathomable if you're used to Instagram and Facebook, where we're talking like less than 2%. So people really do engage more frequently and more intensely, but it is a platform that's more about connecting people with content than with family and friends. Here's Andrea from Americans for Tax Fairness. These are just a couple of examples that we thought we'd share.
Pay your fair share of taxes.
Oh, did we
Simple.
see that? That felt like kind of blurry to me. I don't know if you guys got that, but she's using the green screen feature. And yeah, that was like, what, a 3-second video, a 5-second video, but it did really well. And you obviously get the point. Billionaires should pay their taxes.
Right. And then this one from Mina Harris that starts with Joe Biden is just an example. This is a video that was square when it was uploaded. In the on the mobile app, though, it'll appear like this.
I just have one thing to say.
Clearly, that was in the run-up to the 2020 election when someone was about to lose his job. But it's also a good reminder that that people turn to TikTok because it's sort of a joyful place. It's a release from some of the atmosphere and that you get on some of the other platforms. So that's something to keep in mind as you're creating your content as well. There we go. All right. So we're getting low on time here. So I just want to put a couple of things out there about building community and things that you can do. I want to be able to take some questions if we have any from the viewers here. So building community, just remember that you've got collaboration tools. We've talked about a lot of those already, but you can sometimes work with other accounts, with other creators to collaborate on creating new content. And excuse me, it's something that you don't want to ever pass up. I mean, you're doubling your resources in that case. So another thing that you may see on a lot of very large, very successful accounts is accounts sharing the videos from other creators. Big ESPN's feed is almost all shares of other people's content, but it's very successful for them. The important thing is that it's always with proper credit, tagging the original creators. It's a good practice if you can reach out to the creator directly with it through a DM to ask permission. But as long as it's properly credited and tagged, it's a great tool. It helps other creators reach more distribution, reach more audience. It gives you more content that can perform. It's a win-win for both. Stitches and duets we've seen before, but those are also an easy way to jump in on trends or to reuse some of your own assets and existing content. And then finally, you've maybe heard of hype houses. Now, a hype house is an account with multiple creators contributing to it. So um, it is gone now, but there was a Democratic hype house. There is a GOP hype house. There's a Black leftist hype house. And these are all accounts where creators who have their own individual accounts as well will create content. It gets posted and shared on the hype house account as well. Everybody gets tagged on those. It's very collaborative, and it's a great community building tool. I said earlier that TikTok rewards boldness and personality. You want to engage your audience and build your audience by being a viewer as much as you are a creator. So get out there, comment and share, and work with other creators as well. Challenges, we talked about how you can jump in on a trending challenge to easily create content and see more virality and more reach into the For You channel. But you could also consider creating your own hashtag challenge. And engaging your existing community to create content with that hashtag and to tag you in it. And then sharing some of the best pieces that you get out of that onto your account as well. Anything that plays into the collaborative spirit of TikTok is great for help building your community. And you can also encourage your followers or fans to film their own reactions to your content or to do duets. And again, share those to your page. This is more effective once you've achieved a certain size, but it's all good practice to take on at any point. Did you have anything you wanted to add, Jocelyn? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, that's great.
Okay. All right. These are some screenshots, so you just see what some of these things look like. On the left, we have this is the Black leftist hype house, and you can see the videos are coming from a variety of creators, and all of them are each have individual accounts as well. But it's a great place and a great way to generate content. So you could even think of making your own organization's account into a bit of a hype house itself by inviting creators to create content or to pull content from them. And then finally, on the right here is what a hashtag challenge would look like. So in the Discover section, you can look through the hashtags, look through challenges. This is one that was very popular this year, the Wipe It Down challenge. But when you look up a challenge hashtag, you see all the top performing videos from there. So here's some examples of video content that's community building. So this first one is an account called Politics Girl, and she has encouraged her followers to film their own reactions. So.
Knowing the Republicans have all the control to take the House and therefore the government election 2022, thanks to partisan redistricting, what do? Well, first of all, we work really hard to support grassroots activism in states where redistricting has happened. All on our line and indivisible are already on the ground with campaigns to put pressure on Republicans for being too aggressive with their map redistricting. More importantly, though, we absolutely must pass the For the People Act, which is the updated John Lewis Rights Voting Act, and we have to do it immediately. The For the People Act bans.
And what you see here, he doesn't really say any, he just is reacting in agreement. This particular one goes on a bit longer, but encouraging this kind of collaboration and reaction just helps amplify your account and helps build more community with your fans and followers. On the right here, On the previous slide, we looked at the Wipe It Down challenge. And this is a great example of taking advantage of one of those hashtag challenges to deliver your message, or something a little different than what everybody else is doing. And this one was also a very successful piece. Oop, wrong one.
Wipe it down, wipe it down, wipe.
I just love that one. Okay. All right. Finally, before we get to Q&A, we want to talk a little bit about using influencers and the reality with TikTok ads. Jocelyn, take it away.
Yeah, so I will be quick because I can't. That hour went so fast. You guys are great. So yes, the average TikTok platform or account is just going to get more engagement because of the way the algorithm works, which is great. And with that, do not underestimate small accounts. So I learned a word this year, micro and nano influencers. Those are very little, but so a nano is an account that's under 10,000 followers. So a lot of people's personal accounts are probably, and micro is like under 100,000. And then of course, these huge accounts with hundreds of thousands or millions followers, those are typically what we think of as like, oh, I want that person with the million followers to share my content or talk about my issue. But what we have found is that micro and nano influencers actually have more credibility because they are viewed as more authentic. People with millions of followers, people pretty much understand at this point that a lot of them do this as a career at this point. And if you guys haven't seen all those crazy Atlantic pieces about like 15-year-olds who make millions of dollars off TikTok, but nano influencers are viewed as more credible, get more engagement. So if you are trying to build an advocacy campaign for your issue, do not underestimate small accounts and people who are willing to work with you, because they will likely get more engagement and maybe even build stronger relationships with people like volunteers.
Yeah, as an account gets larger, the engagement rate tends to drop because smaller accounts are seen as more accessible as well. Not credible and accessible, but
yeah. And people tend to view, I think anyone with any social media following can understand this. Like when you are a little bit more, when you are smaller but active online, people tend to feel like they know you. And that is definitely true for TikTok even more, which makes sense. It's video, you're not just sharing your opinions verbally. People can see you and connect with you. And yeah, there's a lot of potential there for that reason. Yeah, did I miss anything? I know we want to have time to take questions.
no, that's good. I think the last thing we wanted. Oh, actually, just to keep in mind that that your goals for running an influencer campaign on TikTok should be focused on views, awareness, engagement, education, not so much a call to action or dry. It's not terribly effective with that, but it's great for amplifying messages and driving awareness. Okay, so it's bad news. TikTok bans political ads. Period. That's not something new that has happened since the 2020 election or or anything like that. It's just always been the case. It's not temporary, and it's not likely to change. What has changed more recently is that they've been under a little more scrutiny and have put out directives on all the different kinds of political ads that and they've widened the scope of the ads that they won't approve. So in addition to politics, there's all kinds of things you can't advertise on TikTok now, but you've never been able to do political ads. Issue ads, and it's a gray area, right? But issue ads are okay. The TikTok even runs challenges sometimes to support issues and fundraise for them. So depending on what kind of work your organization is in, you may or may not find some wiggle room there to run ads. But the important thing, since we were talking about influencers, is that technically the political ad ban on TikTok includes influencer marketing. All influencers that are creating content for a brand or organization or candidate or anything is supposed to disclose that. And if it's political, it's supposed to be against the rules. Now, clearly, that has not been the case. It hasn't been enforced. Is what basically it was not enforced during the 2020 campaign. It wasn't enforced during the Georgia runoffs, and so there's it's been sort of a wink, wink, nudge, nudge. You fine, go ahead and pay creators to create content. But a couple of months ago, Mozilla did a big study looking at this, and this has put pressure on TikTok to prove that they're actually enforcing their rules. So far, we haven't seen any actual outcome from that, but best practices would be to look for means of working with influencers and other creator or user generated content that is not a paid compensation arrangement. So you may something like a hype house or cultivating activist influencers who are in it because it aligns with their values, and there's a shared benefit for them creating content for you and you amplifying that, and vice versa. And you might also consider if TikTok video or video that the same sort of thing that you're creating for Instagram Reels or YouTube Shorts becomes a large part of your creative wheelhouse, you may consider wanting to actually recruit and employ some of these very talented creators. But it is incumbent upon us to make sure that everyone understands that paid influencer marketing for political campaigns and anything other than issue campaigns is against the rules. Looks like we've only got a couple of minutes. I'm going to put the last slide up just so you've got our email addresses if anybody would like to ask us questions or contact us with any concerns or questions you have after this. We'll be happy to engage with you there. Did we have other questions?
Yeah, we have a few. I know we have like 1 minute. So 3, will we be making the slides available? Sandy, are we going to send these to people or have them up somewhere? I don't know how that works with Netroots.
We will figure it out.
Yes, you guys seriously email us. On the second one, is there any action?
If there's ways to post it, then just email us and we can send them out to you.
Is there an action one can take on viral videos that are harmful or stir harmful trends? I don't know. Most of the trends I've seen are pretty.
You can report videos, and TikTok will take things down, but it's a little bit of the Wild West, honestly. It's hit and miss. It's much like the other platforms where sometimes you will see success reporting videos and sometimes you will not.
And the last one I think we have time for, do we mean TikTok bans political ads or it bans partisan political ads?
they consider it's just like Facebook, that they consider it's not just partisan if it is controversial. So if I'm yeah, it's one thing if I push an issue ad for the Red Cross. It's another if I am trying to run ads on something that I don't. It's a little wonky, but it's the same sort of thing that you run into with Facebook. That some things that are not directly partisan will still get tagged as being flagged as being political.
We're being told to wrap it up, guys. We have loved talking to you. Please do reach out and email us. As you can tell, we love talking about this stuff. So
Yeah,
would
and
love
what
to
we'd be
connect with
happy to
you.
do is if you want to get the slides or have some additional questions, go ahead and email us, and we can collect all the questions we get and include those and answers to those when we send out the slides.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, you guys. This was great.
Thank you.
Thank you.